This by no means is a groundbreaking message. You've definitely heard this before, but I feel the need to say it again because I just believe somebody out there is going to see this video and hear this message and it'll mean something to them. Thank you for tuning into this channel. My name is Niko. You're watching the Niko for the People YouTube channel. Subscribe on your way in. Like the video on your way in. Thank you so much for being here. Here's the message. Call the people who you haven't called and speak with them, reconcile with them, and if you need to, tell them you love them. Because you never know when the Lord is going to call them home, and you'll never get to speak to them again, unless you speak to them in heaven when you get there, if you're going there. But that's another conversation for another day. The message for today is call them, reach out, because, just imagine you get a phone call or a text message and say, hey, your grandmother has passed away. She's gone. Here's the funeral arrangements, etc., etc. And you're like, dang, I've been meaning to call my grandma. You're going to feel some type of way for a long time. It happened to me. It happened to me with my great-grandmother, my granny. Of all my siblings, I was always her favorite. But when I left Buffalo after I graduated high school, I just, you're in college, so you're kind of doing your own thing. And you got so much life happening for yourself that you don't think to turn around and call your family members who are back home thinking about you. And I never called her. I never talked to her and updated her on my life, what was going on. I was living in Florida at the time. And I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, so it was a drastic change. And she would have loved to hear about it. But the Lord called her home. And I never got to tell her about my experiences. Or even just ask her more about her life. All that stuff. You just can't imagine that they'll be gone, but they'll be gone. Call them. And then it happened with my father. My father and I have always had an interesting relationship. Not bad. Not incredibly good either. Just maybe a little bit distant. And as I got older and as I got into college, I wanted that to change. Like I wanted us to be closer and have more of an authentic, real, intimate relationship. But I never called him. And I talked to him must have been about 6 months. No, 3 months maybe before he passed away. And when I was getting off the phone, I said, all right, Daddy, I'll talk to you later. I love you. And he said, do you? That's what he said. And I know why he said it. He said it because it's like, we don't talk, you don't call, you don't visit. And part of that, I think, is his fault. And I can explain that in depth in another video. Again, nothing negative between us, but just, I don't know. But I remember that. I said, all right, Daddy, I'll talk to you later. I love you. He said, do you? I said, what you mean? He said, do you love me? And I said, yeah. He said, okay. And that was kind of it. The conversation just ended, and I'm pretty sure that was the last time I talked to him. And then the Lord called him home. And he's been there ever since. Yeah. So if you listen to this message, man, call your folks. Reconcile with your father. That's most important. Yes, most important is to reconcile with your father. That's number one, if you need to. Number two is your mother. And then your family members, relatives, siblings, grandparents. Just call them. See how they're doing. Just talk. Just tell them something random that they probably don't want to hear or that you probably don't want to tell them. Tell it to them anyway. Yo, Mom, today I almost got into a fight. Just tell her. Call your folks, man. Call your folks. Thanks for tuning into the video. Subscribe and like the video on your way out. Have a good day.